going? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Number one chill spot. How we feeling? How we doing? 9:25 a.m. here on a Tuesday, September 11th. Oh wow, it's September 11th. That's the anniversary. I'm sure New York has and I remember September 11th actually. I remember like the day and like where I was. I was in school. What a weird eerie feeling right now. We're sending prayers. We got Buds and Mel here. We got Julia here. Nice to see you. We got Tay Ghoul here. Nice to see you. Oh, we got Yafet. Yafet's not late today. Yafet right on time. We like that. How's it going? We're feeling good. We're having brewing up a nice little dark brew here. I'm just like looking at this tea. I'm like, yo, this might be a little bit too dark. I might have made this a little bit too dark, but maybe we need that today. It's looking like everybody needs a little bit of something today, right? Yeah, let's grab our focus. Let's take all our energy and for the next couple of hours, just place it in a direction that allows us to feel centered. Let's find that sweet spot between our mind and our spirit, right? Our heart and our mind, our emotions and our logic. The sweet spot between it all. Let's make sure we feel united within ourselves, because if we are divided, we are of no service to anybody or the world, right? Hurt people, heal people. So what are we doing? We're working on being united within ourselves. So the same grace we seek, we can show others. It's a beautiful thing. Got Dominique here. Nice to see Dominique. Always a pleasure to see Dominique. Nice. We'll have a slow start today. No need to rush. Let me know how you are feeling in the chat. If you want to use a number on the scale of 1 to 10 so I can peep what the frequency is like today. Let me know. We've got Tracy here as well. It's really beautiful how we're just like coming back and realizing our power, realizing what we hold within us. And man, that belief in ourselves and the Most High, and when we come back and step into that sweet spot, oh man, we move with so much purpose, recognizing that we hold the purpose and we're just figuring out where to place it. We got Buds here, who is a nice little chill 7, and along with 7 divine heavenly numbers. Yafet with the nice 8 with the gratitude. We got Ace with the wholeness. We got Hazy Rivers with the 7. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We got Joy with the 6. Tabitha is spiritually exhausted, sitting at a 5. Oof, man. Let's bring some rest to that spiritual exhaustion. It's going to come back around. Do not worry about a thing, we are guided and gifted. We believe in the goodness of the world as well. Everything is a process. But I feel you, Tabitha. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Got Koski here. Dominique here. Liv is a 3. Okay. Well, Liv, hopefully we can get you up to a 5. A little bit of progress, just a little bit of a step. But I understand. Energy may be a little bit heavy today for some. Definitely the internet is on one today. But we're still going to find that sweet spot between our mind and our spirit. And we're still going to place the energy in the direction that matters, even if it's a little bit of energy, right? Make a little bit of progress. That's what we do, right? Small steps. I am drinking. What am I drinking today? I was actually quite happy because I actually found my Pu'er teas. Pu'ers. This one is Big Snow Chi. Yeah, energy, Big Snow energy. Wisdom, peace, and change. Oh, look at that. The tea we're drinking today is all about wisdom, peace, and change. I love that. I actually thought I drank all of these teas. I thought I was completely done, and then I actually just found it in my bin this morning, and I was like, you know what? We all need a little bit of wisdom, peace, and change, right? So I'm quite happy about that. Now I'm gonna do something a little bit shaky here. Whoa. Yes, there we go. Ah, look at that. Wow, that's very dark. I put too much in. I steeped too much. Let's try to like distill it a little bit. I really got to set myself up properly here at the studio with all my tea sets. I think I got to come here on Sunday and spend the day and reorganize and clean and refresh and reset the space and get a new setup in here because, starting next week, I really want to, start, streaming more and, also having our long talks again. I really want to start to evolve and enhance my oral communication. So I'm really going to start coming on here a little bit more and just, talking about some ideas and things like that. We got Koski here. When will this be uploaded to the channel when it's done? It's always on the channel after, but actually moving forward, I think a lot of these replays, I'm putting it under the YouTube membership, which is just like a couple dollars, mainly because sometimes the streams are actually kind of confusing the data for me on like YouTube wanting to know like where to refer videos. So I kind of had to organize the structure of some things, and it's just a little simple way to support if you want. But regardless, there's a lot of study streams on the stream tab. If you just go to the stream tab, there is a bunch of study streams there for you to check out. Are your lives becoming private now? I can't access much of them anymore. The study streams, a lot of the replays will be private because the watch time on them are so large that like it's really kind of like confusing the channel on the back end. So I need to organize it a little bit more. Now, regardless, obviously these streams I just go on, these are just public, and the mindful conversation ones, those won't have a wall on them. But a lot of the private ones, probably, especially when I start putting my own music in them, yeah, there's like gonna be a little bit of a paywall on those. So it just is what it is. That's how we're setting it up. We got Miraz here as well. We got Sahara here as well. Nice to see you, Sahara. Okay, yeah. That's good. That's potent. Woo! I can feel the wisdom in that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, today, what do I want to work on today? I've been coming up with some new creative processes, and I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into those processes. So probably like the first round, I'm going to be working on that. Again, I'm really wanting to enhance and evolve like my oral communication, and just like it's kind of hard to explain right now, but I'm just developing some new creative processes for really exercising my ideas, but mainly like in my mind. How like I used to already do this, but I realized like I want to train it to another level. It's like Jay-Z, he like writes all his raps in his head. When I first started on YouTube, I actually wrote nothing. Then I got into writing, and then I found the beauty of writing. But then sometimes I find that writing kind of erodes my confidence a little bit sometimes when I'm speaking, because I'm like, oh, can I speak this exactly how I wrote it? So I want to find my sweet spot between writing and, also exercising and, going through the stories in my mind. And we're having fun with it. We love communicating. We love speaking. I see speaking as an art. And I think, these days when I look at how like AI isn't just enhancing every single day, I really remove my emotions from it, and I really just identify what is my edge. And I'm like, well, one thing that AI won't be able to do for you is speak for you. Yeah, I can do a podcast and all that, but we'll never be able to speak for you live or like in person. So I was like, oh, like that is something we're already good at. It's something people already love us for. Let's take that to the next level, because yeah, AI can make beautiful pictures, it can make music, AI can do videos and stuff like that. Like everything is changing. So I'm the type of individual where I think it's really important to identify your gifts, how you can be of service, and what is your edge. Like once you can realize what your edge is, then you really can carve out your own lane. And that's really what I'm about. Someone said, bro, your voice is so deep. Oh man, sorry. This is quite nice. How do you do that? That's just my voice. Also, like my grandfather on my mother's side, he actually passed away last year. Rest in peace. I loved him very much. He talked very quietly, and he never spoke very loud. Never heard that man yell. Never even really heard him speak. Like, he spoke in the mouth, and so do I. Like, in the sense of, not in the mouth. Like, I speak kind of like right in here. Like, that's where the air kind of circulates. It's kind of why I have a deeper voice. Like, I naturally just don't even like speaking loud. Like, it doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't feel natural. Like, some people are just louder speakers. Like, it's like they have vocal cords that just, travel further in volume. I naturally don't have high volume in when I'm speaking. It kind of makes it difficult making videos if I don't have a microphone close to me, because then it completely like puts me out of my element. I just actually have a very lower tone voice. It's just, and I didn't like it before until I started to like, you know, love it and understand the beauty in it as well, and then learn how to work with it. And then obviously, obviously I also like find the right sounds that like pair with my voice nicely. So that's a whole other thing as well. Like, certain sounds or maybe chords, may not fit with your voice as nicely as others. So that's how you can kind of enhance your voice in videos if you really take a lot of note to that. But everybody just has, their own style. Obviously mine is mindful tone, chill, it's more calm, it's a lower voice. I just don't have a loud shouting voice, you know. You gotta put me in a certain type of energy for me to get very loud. I have one friend, his name is Garrett. Me and him joke around pretty heavy, and like that's the only time I get like super high pitch. It's like a certain rare energy that happens for me, but besides that, we chilling. We get Sahari here as well. We're going to be doing a study stream today. It's going to be a nice little study work with me stream. We're going to be applying our energy in the direction that matters. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, and the algorithms are pretty hot right now and controversial. And I know people may be feeling in many different ways. So if you just feel like you need a space for the next couple of hours to maybe find that sweet spot between your mind and your heart, this space will be that space for you today, right? Why not? Maybe you're gonna journal. Maybe you're just gonna work on your business. Maybe you're gonna study. Maybe you're gonna take some notes. Maybe you're gonna color. I don't know. Maybe you're gonna edit. Maybe you're gonna come up with some ideas. I actually came up with a new idea for a second channel, and I've been talking about wanting to do a second channel for a very long time, but I never got that full conviction on what I wanted to do. And then it finally hit me the other day. And I was like, yes, that is it. So I'm quite happy about that. And first, I got to finish some other things. The next 8 weeks, I'm like doing some new digital experiences I'm creating that I'll be launching November. And once I finish that, then I'm going to launch a second channel. Which is nice because I get to explore some different topics and stuff in a different space. But it took me 2 years of thinking to finally come to a conclusion. So that's why sometimes, don't worry. Some of us, we think we're behind, but really you're ahead of yourself in your mind, right? Like, come back, be present, take your time at times, and just, know that the answer is coming to you. Nothing is in your way. Everything is on the way. Divine timing. It's a beautiful thing. Tabitha said, definitely putting some folks on do not disturb in real life. Yeah, I feel you. Marisa says, Heinz, I'm struggling to know if I should ignore how I feel and replace the thoughts I get in my mind and in a sense of control my thought process or how I feel. I wouldn't ignore how you feel. You can definitely validate how you are feeling or observe it, right? Like, you don't want to distract yourself too much to where, like at another point, like all these feelings start to erupt within yourself. But I would just recognize it. You can just recognize it, but you don't have to simmer in it all day, right? It's just knowing that it is there, but knowing that you are going to be rooted in solutions. And, sometimes it's okay to just take a break and be like, yo, I'm not entertaining this at the moment. I'm going to focus on something else and, maybe come back to it in a different space. But, there's nothing wrong with just recognizing how you are feeling. It's all good. But still, I think regardless, the only thing we have is the present moment. And today we're going to choose to, do something, positive with it. Let's give a good congratulations to Sahara. She was accepted into dental assistant school starting in October. We love that. Old job hired her back as well coming September. Look at that. Look at the progress. Look at the evolution. Look at the good things that are happening in real time. We love that for Sahara. Good things are happening for you. Everybody. You got to know it. You got to believe it. Even if there's a delay. Listen, the good things may be 2 years away. But as long as you know it's coming, it is coming. I heard this old guy on TikTok the other day say something, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely weaving this into my language. It's really something I say as well when I say, when it's a good day, you be happy because a bad day is coming. When it's a bad day, have gratitude because a good day is coming. But he said, when you're when you're riding a high on life, he said, like when you're high on life, I don't know exactly how I said it. When you're high on life, he's like, be humble. But when you're low, when you're experiencing those bad times, be hopeful. I love that because it's true, because when you're high up, listen, things are going to come, they're going to come back down. So don't be too high up on your horse. You understand? Understand that like life ebbs and flows. So be humble, have that gratitude. But when things aren't quite working out, man, be hopeful, right? If you're not going to be hopeful, who was the old guy? What's considered old guy? He was about, I would say he's probably about 82 years old. Yeah, I mean, I consider that old. 82. Yeah, I would consider that old. Not in a negative context, but like he was a grandpa. Definitely a grandpa. Like I would be calling him grandpa, Yes, I love all the congratulations in the chat for Sahara. Man, my voice a little bit raspy. Give me a moment. Also need to kind of shift this lens a little bit on the side. Ooh. There we go. I think I got it. What does sovereignty mean to you? Independence, developing your own systems that you rely on yourself, not reliance on another system that may not have your best interests. That's what I would name sovereignty. I would say it's a sense of control as well. Obviously, we can't control everything, but it's a sense of control over your own domain that you're creating for yourself. Yeah, I think there's sovereignty in so many different ways. How many people truly have sovereignty? I'd say very, very, very few. I'd say we're all reliant on many different ways, but I think that is always kind of like one of the goals, right? It's a process to develop more sovereignty for yourself. Even online, you can develop, digital sovereignty, and that's a beautiful thing. But offline as well, it's a little bit more of a challenge. You definitely have to unplug from certain things, and go your own way. And I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Lori Smith says, your voice is healing. When I was going through my divorce, I played your video since he had the TV on all night. He didn't like that. Damn. Not the exy being a little jealousy. Damn. No, you know what I always like is like sometimes when I'm out and about. When I was in Atlanta, I met some people. And this one couple came up to me. This woman was like, oh man, I love your videos. And then her boyfriend was like, yo, at first I was like, yo, who is this dude? But he's like, then I started watching your stuff, and then I was like, I was cool with it. I was like, all right, I like Heinz. I app with him. So I get a lot of that, or a lot of people are like, nah, we cool with you. Like, it's the unit. So your ex was just on one. Can't be mad at a little bit of healing. Nice little voice. You know what I'm saying? That's like being mad at a nice, good song. Nah. I hope everything is going smooth for you now, though, Lori, on the other side of your experience and however your new life is looking. We know beautiful things are happening, new growth. We love that. We love that. We love that. Mira says, we are going to get started in a little bit here for a study and work with me stream. We're going to have a slow start. No problem with a nice little slow start, but we will get to it. I always say the first step is procrastination. The next step is execution. We love it. Mira says, bro, I feel so empty spiritually and I can't commit to religion just because I can't believe like a blind. What do you think I should focus on? Mindfulness or what practice? That's a really good question. I do understand your perspective on not being able to fully align with a singular religion, because I would say the difficult thing about religion is all your views now have to align with that religion, right? And as human beings, like, often we live in gray areas, we're very nuanced. And unfortunately, like when you are in a religion, you are in a community. And if your views start to, sway a little bit outside, or you just, you have a bit of a wider scope, you can be, criticized, ridiculed, or, even like, banished from the group, or, punished, or constantly having a finger waving at you. So it is very hard to join one if you have a lot of independent thought for yourself. I would say what I would do is like just be a student of life and fall in love with life again, right? So whatever practices and modalities allow you to start really embracing life, like fall in love with the way you're waking up in the mornings, the food that you are eating, like just go and enjoy life. Life is like a living conversation. I feel like I feel God in the moments where I am truly just, present and like having, like strengthening that relationship with I have with myself, recognizing the power that is within me. I'm being intentional with my relationships, especially with my daughter, and I'm present with her, and I'm like in gratitude for her. And in those moments is like when I truly feel like I am connected to something that is inexplainable. And then I would also even set aside like a practice for prayer, right? Like you may not have a name that you're praying to, but if you want to pray to something, I would just say, to the one who formed me within my mother's womb, right? There's only one creator who formed you in your mother's womb. So really, even if you don't have a name for that, at the same time, you are still recognizing the same being if you're trying to figure out who that being is. And at the same time, names can be confusing. So at the end of the day, I would get real intentional with your living, and maybe take a season where you kind of, put all the, questions, or not the questions, but, just take a moment away from all the like religious debates and like, the decision making of which is right, which is wrong, and just come back and start to, just live life with a little bit of curiosity again with your own life. And at the end of the day, believe that, truth will guide you to where you need to be. And, sometimes we're always exactly where we need to be, and sometimes we're not fully ready to come into a certain revelation of what that may be, right? I clearly am the type of individual who I'm not the type of person to tell somebody what to do or what to believe. I'm more so the individual of like saying like, here, I'd rather share some of the tools that I've used for my own navigation, and here are those tools, and maybe these tools can help you discover what truth is for you in your life. Now, obviously, I'm not like, yeah, so that's what I would say. But I do understand you fully. But sometimes also we lose ourselves just to discover who we really are, and sometimes like we fall off spiritually or religiously just to really realize or come back to what we really believe in. So sometimes we need that opposing experience to come back into faith. Like I had a season once where I was much more like kind of leaning in, and at a point in my life where I was leaning into like atheism, and I was actually still to this day have a lot of gratitude for that season in my life, because there's parts of that thinking that was of service for my mindset, but also the things I didn't connect with, I was able to experience them and be like, I don't connect with this. And it allowed me to come back to where I want to be and continue to move forward. So, Peace to you, brother, on your journey. Know that you're always guided and gifted. It's a beautiful thing. And don't let anybody shame you, for what you are doing. It's your journey. You got to lead it. You got to live it. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing, beautiful thing. We got some good tea. A couple minutes, we get started here. Let me know. Let me know what you're going to be working on today. Again, I'm going to be working on fine tuning my creative process a little bit. Want to work on a podcast. I got a video to edit. There's a lot of things I can do, but I'm definitely going to take a moment when our round kicks off and identify what is the most important for today, top priority, and focus on those three things. So that's what we're going to do pretty soon. Heinz, have you eaten that salmon and bannock out there? No, I don't think I have. Heinz, any advice on how to know what you want out of life? My family in the past and still currently questions what I want, downplaying it, saying it's not practical, and realize this has made it difficult to know what I want and make decisions. Yeah, it's really difficult to know what you want, right? Because how do you know what you want without experience? I never resonated with the idea that everyone was supposed to know what they're supposed to do for the rest of their life, the entirety of their life, as soon as they graduate high school. It never made sense for me. For the generations before us, like the boomers and whatever you call those other ones, they came from a time where things were simplified, right? There was more of a winning structure as well. Like, hey, you do this, you go to school, you get married by this age, and you buy your house, and you go like this. They got their information from the same sources, right? The same news stations. There was no internet, right? There was actually less options, less possibilities, or they just had less awareness of what those options were. So it was a lot clearer for them. Now you actually live in a time where you realize that, man, there's actually a lot of different things that you can do. So obviously you're going to have this external pressure from an older generation that knows things and sees things through their angle, but you're actually experiencing a completely different reality. Now, I actually experienced that as well, and I actually had to mute those noises. The thing that you will have to do is figure out genuinely what you are interested in, right? What pulls your curiosity? What do you like to learn about? What maybe do you have a soft spot in your heart for, right? Pay attention to those things. What things make you feel, what pulls your curiosity. But the truth is, you just might not know what that is yet, and you may have to experience. So you may have to try different things to see what you like and what you don't like. And you're going to have to work hard at whatever you got, because you have these external voices that are most likely going to always be telling you you're not doing the right thing, because they're looking at life through one framework that they grew up in. To live the life I am living now, which I love the life I'm living right now. I'm really appreciative of it. I love the life I've carved out for myself. And obviously there's so many ways I want to expand it, evolve it. But to get to where I am now, I actually had to ignore pretty much 98% of advice. But I was able to do that just because I believed in myself. So also start to really develop yourself, your skills, right? Figure out what your intrinsic qualities are and enhance them. Believe in your resilience, practice your discipline, educate yourself again on things that you are interested in, because you're going to have to show out and prove to the individuals that are telling you you are doing things wrong if you feel like you want to go in another direction. You can't go in another direction and then just completely bomb life in the end, right? Now, the people who were worried about me, let's say family members and stuff like that, or people who were like, what were you doing? All hands are off. There is no judgment. They're like, let this guy steer his own wheel. Clearly, we don't know what the hell we're talking about when it comes to his life. That is the attitude for anyone around me now. Because for 15 years, 13 years, I had mad contradictions. And I had support as well, but nobody fully understood what I was doing. I had friends making fun of me when I started making content. What are you doing? To them, they're like, I avoided the film industry. Like I started to work in the film industry, and after like a few months, I'm like, I don't want to be here. And they thought I was crazy because the film industry is like where you actually build a profession or like it's legit. And they would mock me. They'd be like, what is this guy doing making dinky little videos or whatever? Like this is before content was like a real thing. But now everything is content. Like I was actually like, I sometimes I'm like, I didn't know, but I was like a decade, 12, 13 years ahead of the curve, right? So now I have that freedom in the people around me that when I say things, even if it doesn't make sense to them, they're like, you know what? He has shown and proved himself enough to where I'm not even going to really get in his way. And that's basically the same thing you're going to have to do, but you're going to have to experience life. You know what I'm saying? And now you have the internet, you have information, you can reach out to anybody that you want. There's a lot of stuff out there. So you have to really lead with that curiosity and get into it. We got LeJohn here in the building. Nice. I like this. I like this. I like the Graceful Brothers. You know what I'm saying? First things first, pat yourself on the back for showing up today. That's facts. Before we kicking into high gear, I just want to wish you all the best of luck as you dive into your endeavors today. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A beautiful thing. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. We got Dennis here as well. I want to structure my work to make space for more creativity and also want to stretch your time for creativity. So dead mud. I can't really read what you're saying here. My apologies. Janet, I am working in the kitchen making a sweet potato and bell pepper hash. Nice. I am absolutely obsessed with Japanese sweet potatoes. I eat them every day. I steam them. I love them. They taste so good. You know, like they don't even need, I don't even need to put anything on it. I can literally just eat them as is steamed and they're like delicious. I put a little bit of a, if I get on that t-shirt, Heinz, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I actually, you know what's funny about that? I realized 2 days ago, I always say it's a beautiful thing. I think beautiful is like one of my favorite words. Because I don't know, it just, I always say it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I know it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's definitely one of my favorite words. Okay, we're almost there. I'm almost feeling ready in my spirit. Almost there. Let me get a timer going. Timer up on the screen. Make sure you hit that like button. We're gonna focus. We're gonna place energy in the direction that matters for a little bit. Then when I go home, I gotta make some like meal prep, make a stew or something like that. Had some really good salmon yesterday. The salmon was on fire. Also watched a movie. Me and my daughter went and saw The Conjuring, a little horror film. My daughter likes horror films. She a different one. My daughter likes pretty much all the music. Like I would say 80% of the music my daughter listens to is from the 60s and 70s. She's like real into like British rock. And then she also loves Arctic Monkeys. And then she also likes horror movies. You know, and then she likes anime. She a different kid, yo. She a different kid. She a different kid. Okay, we got Just Be nice in the building. Nice, 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 nice. Renee, yes, beautiful thing, beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Yeah, we love beautiful. I just like making beautiful things as well, you know? I just like things to sound beautiful, feel beautiful, you know? Like, look at this world, like the creation in itself, like the actual world, like the nature. It's so beautiful. You know, God is such a beautiful, intelligent designer. What a cool designer. You know what I find interesting about the whole AI stuff and now that we're building robots? It's just like, it's proof of a creator in so many ways because it's like if we can create a form of intelligence that's clearly going to get better and better and we can create robots now and these robots are going to start to look more human, it's obviously just almost common sense that like another entity created us at another time, you know, like it's kind of like it almost feels like we are reverse engineering ourselves with technology in so many ways. It's kind of spooky and creepy. EFS says I recommend Supercell, dope show on Netflix. Okay. Man, I haven't watched Netflix in a long time, but I got the projector screen up in my home now and I got a projector, so about to do some nice little projector vibes, you know? It's gonna be good. Okay, let me find some music for the session. Soon AI babies. Yep, the AI babies are coming too. They're definitely gonna have the wombs, right? The artificial wombs. That's definitely gonna be a thing. And at first, obviously, it's gonna be everyone. I think most people were all gonna be like, "Yo, that's weird. No, don't do that." But people also felt like that about IVF back in the day. People thought IVF was demonic and everything like that. Now IVF is like widely acceptable. So I kind of predict the same thing. I think at first, like obviously, like artificial wombs will be like, obviously that just does not sit right with us. But probably as time goes on, it'll be something that's normalized completely. If you just look at history and our technologies, it's the same thing that always happens. You know, I remember, I remember, because I'm a millennial. Like I literally remember not having internet, and I remember like the taboo around if you met somebody that you met online, like if you met them in real life, like that was a crazy concept. Like you did not do that. You don't meet someone from the internet. Now it's like that's normal, and people are on dating apps, like meeting people off the internet. Like first reaction to most technology is always spooky, and then somehow human beings we almost adopt things very fast and don't realize the effects until later. Like it's kind of wild how we have already accepted ChatGPT so easily. Like, yeah, we just had this thing that like you can talk to now and ask it any question, and it's kind of wild how quickly that came out of nowhere, and we're just like, yep, this is what it is. This is just what it is. We absorb things very fast, but often we never question the effects it's going to have on us long term. Like we don't even know the full effects of social media yet because we're still like in the infancy of it. Obviously, we can see some of the effects for sure, but like 50 years from now, it's going to be a better measurement, of like what happened in humanity when we made these shifts. So I do agree with you, Rini. Dating apps are weird. Actually, there's been a decline in dating apps because obviously people aren't having positive outcomes. So that's obviously going to be shifting as well. So I think people are going to be coming. I think good thing about AI is people are going to be coming offline more, right? The internet's going to be full of AI agents, AI assistants. There's going to be more atomic. There's going to be more AI entities online than actual human beings. Where I think human beings are going to be called to actually getting to know each other in person again. That's why wellness clubs are becoming a thing. That's why running clubs are becoming a thing. That's why day parties are becoming a thing because people are trying to find more ways to integrate and have community because we are social creatures, right? That's really when we thrive the most. And we had like a decade or two here now where we're kind of like living on the internet. And I actually think there's going to be a migration soon where we will come back offline, obviously still having the internet, but the reality is everyone's going to have an AI agent or an AI assistant that is actually roaming the internet for them, pulling information and doing things for them, right? Like you can fully, download certain AI agents right now that will operate for you and run things autonomously. So it will get interesting. It will get interesting. I actually really love like tech philosophy and the effects that it has on human beings. It's actually kind of like a thing I'm passionate about because I've always actually loved technology, but I've always been quite interested in observing how it affects us as well, positively and negatively. So I think we got a good group in here. I don't know if too many other people are going to be joining us today, so that's all right. The internet is quite all over the place today. Obviously, there's a lot happening right now, but for those that want to join us today and just have a nice little focused experience, that's what we will do, right? I think we'll put 55 minutes on the clock. We have 55 minutes. Perfect. Let me grab this music again. Okay. Still working on my custom playlists of my own music and other things, copyright free stuff. So, we'll have that ready next week. Okay. Side gig university feeling slow today. That's okay. We do the best we can while we can. You know, that's what my uncle Omar says. He's from Senegal. He's got a nice little shop out here in Vancouver, BC. He always says, oh, he says this to me. He's, oh, Brother Hines, you know, we do the best we can while we can. We just do the best we can while we can. And today we're feeling a little bit slow, so we just do the best we can while we can in that slowness. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure. Life is about living. Life is about laughing. I literally go to this guy's shop just to get good energy and go back and forth with him. I actually brought my daughter there yesterday. She never met him, and he just being a vibe. You know, I actually wish he was like he is. I call him my uncle. He's not like my blood uncle, but like I wish I grew up with somebody like that, like around me. You know, but you know, it's good to have people like that. My daughter's always surprised because she's like, "How do you know so many random people?" Like I'll just go to a store and people will walk in and be like, people working. They'll be like, "Oh, yo, Heinz, how's it going?" And I'm just like, "Yo, bless." And I told her, I'm like, you have to create community within your community, right? Like if you go to the same cafe every week, like twice a week, like you should know these people a little bit, right? Like if you're going to the same grocery store and like you find yourself at the till with the same person all the time, you should get to know these people. These are like beautiful opportunities to create like just more connection in your day to day and receive a lot of value. And because of somebody like myself who works by myself, you know, a lot of my life is by myself. I've found ways to create community wherever I am. So I can have like these natural, spontaneous moments with people. And my daughter's always surprised. She's like, my daughter's like, we just moved here, and like we go all these places we go to, everybody knows you. And I'm like, yeah, because I make the effort to go to these when I'm in these places to connect with people and see what they're about. And then after that, we have a relationship. I told her, I'm like, now if we ever go to Senegal, you gotta. Even the guy told me, he's like, yo, he told her, he's like, you have a home in Senegal, you have a condo. And she looked at me, she's like, we have a condo in Senegal? I'm like, yeah, because he's family now. He's got a condo in Senegal, and he's telling us that anytime we go, you good. And I was trying to, you know, I'm showing her that's the power of connection. You know, that's the power of community. Okay, I'm ready. Oof, we had a nice little good start to this morning, you know? Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Glad that you're here with the tribe, here with the frequency. So we're going to focus, we're going to apply the energy in the direction that matters. The chat's always there if you just want to hang out with others in the chat and talk. I'm going to be working on some beautiful things because it's a beautiful thing. And then I'll see you all on the next break, right? Yeah. Nice. We got some little music. Timer going. Number one chill spot. I'll see you on the other side. That was a nice little cozy first round, wasn't it? Yeah. Number one chill spot. A little focus. Moving in the direction that matters. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Yes. Yes. We will go for another round in a second, in a couple minutes. But a couple minute little break. 55 minutes in on a nice little Thursday. I've been going through some sounds. I got so many sounds that I'm organizing. Really, my creative process always starts with sound, even if I don't even use those sounds in the visual. It's just, for me, it kind of sets, I don't know, the energy, the essence for where I want to go with it. Or it just activates me, it sparks me. You know, I just love music so much. Apologies, you may hear this tea kettle in the background for a second. I'm boiling some more water. Highly activated off this prayer tea right now. We got the Wisdom, Peace, Change, Big Snow, Energy. It's actually a buddy of mine that lives in San Francisco that sent me this. He does some cool tea content on TikTok. I wish I remembered the name of it. I'll have to sew that into my memory for next time. Cool stuff though. We're moving in the direction that matters. We're feeling good. First session is over. Moving into another session in a little bit here. Not too long. Just stretching our mind out. Yep. Probably, you know, if you want to be centered and find that sweet spot between your mind and your heart, it's probably going to be a good day to set a couple destination points for yourself. Things you really want to focus on today. I know the internet's internet's pretty divisive today, but it depends what you want to do, right? Maybe you want to, be a part of that conversation. Maybe you don't. That's really your choice, right? So, you decide what you want to do today and place your energy in the direction that you feel you want to place it. That's a beautiful thing. We have choice. We love it. That's true after the fall. The sound of a tea kettle is just ASMR to me. Exactly. It's a sound. I love sound. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that and dropping that in the chat one time. We appreciate that. It's important that we are, I realize, man, not having your confidence will erode your creative process or anything that you're doing. But when you get your confidence back, it's like anything is absolutely possible. Like that's almost like number one is just like coming back and be like realizing who you are, what you are capable of, because that confidence will bring you further than you can even imagine. Like when I first started like making videos like a long time ago, I didn't even know what I was doing, but I just had the confidence. It was weird. I just felt like I could do it. And man, I would make magic. And then in seasons where I didn't have the confidence and seasons I doubted myself, like the doubt revealed itself like in the work I was doing, like, in the process as well. And the doubt revealed itself in the procrastination. There's just something about that belief in yourself that is so powerful, or even also the belief that, you have a divine ally that is also pouring into you, right? And you're creating the right space to, invite the divine into your process, right? I always say, like, with your creative process, right? Like, if you're like so consumed about what people will think or the outcomes or like, the metrics and all these things that, just pull you out of that magic, do you think that's like the right temperature or the right room for the divine to come into? No. That's not the space, that's not the energy that the divine wants to step into, right? It wants to know that your intention is in the right place, that you're fully stepping into something of like, I'm creating for the sake of creating. And of course you want to get it out into the world, and you're going to do that. You're going to figure that out. But we really have to come back and make sure our intention is in the right place if we want that magic, like that true magic, to flow through us into the things that we are doing. Not even your art, even just your business, whatever you are doing and sitting down to do. You got to create the right environment. And then I believe we create an invitation for the divine to join us. But if our intention is all in the wrong place and, we're trying to manipulate the process and, we're only thinking about what we can grasp, something that will make a major shift is when you see everything that you do as an offering. So if it doesn't land the way that you want it to land, you're like, it's okay. I just offered it to the world anyways. Like when they are ready to receive it, they will receive it. But when your intention and your attitude is you're just trying to grasp things and you're trying to take things and you're always addicted to the outcome. And then really that's why we end up falling into selfish desires. That's why I believe in sacred duty. Right. Then the things you do is more like an offering. You create a non-transactional relationship, right? Doesn't mean that you're not going to receive good things from it. Doesn't mean you're not going to create the necessary systems and monetize your gifts. It just means that you see it as an offering and you know that you are giving, you're not grasping, right? Like you're doing this because you give, and because you love to give, you're going to create a beautiful business to support you so you can continue to give, right? Right. So we are giving, we are not grasping. We're not trying to grasp and chase, but we are giving and we are receiving, because at the end of the day, it's just the laws of the universe. You give and you receive, but you're not giving because you know you will receive. You're actually just giving out of the goodness of your heart because God knows why you are giving. I love in the Bible, it says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you give, don't give just to tell people you are giving. And so people think you are a good person. You give because you are truly just wanting to give out of your heart. You understand? And the only person that can truly see your heart is the Most High. So you can't lie to them. You can't lie to God. We're going to be moving into another round here in about a minute. I'm going to pour up some more tea. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Every day is actually a beautiful day because there's always something beautiful within the day that you can find. Right, even this pour, this cup of tea is beautiful. It's also beautiful because I bring meaning to it. To some other people it would be meaningless. It doesn't mean that the cup and the tea itself holds no meaning, but we give meaning to life as well. Just like we give purpose to things. I don't necessarily think our purpose is in something. I actually think that we just hold purpose and we decide what we give purpose to. Right. So in one season, your purpose may be another thing. And then, then it doesn't click no more, or you finished your mission and then you're in a new season. And when you say you're like, I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is, you're actually trying to find something to give your purpose to. Right. It's really a shift. I don't think a thing holds your purpose. I think you hold purpose and then you give purpose to different things. And then when you're in a season when you feel like you have no purpose, you actually still have purpose because your purpose is in your presence. You're just in a season of uncertainty, discovering what you're going to apply your purpose to, your presence to, right? Yeah, right. Nice. Nice. We're focusing today. We're applying our energy in the direction that matters. It's 11:11 right now. Wow, it's September 11th, 11:11. Look at that. Look at that, you understand? Look at, we guided and gifted always. You know how it is. Dylan says, the simpler you become, also, I feel you become more resilient to change as you have less fear to love this or that. It is true, right? You have less attachment. And when you find the simple joys in life, everything else is icing, right? But like if you require like expensive meals every day to be happy, and you require like, I don't know, like, purchasing expensive things or whatever, all the luxuries to like just give you your baseline happiness, you're always going to be chasing things that are outside of yourself. But when you can actually craft the happiness through, the little moments throughout your day, you actually won. Then everything else is like bonus and like you're grateful for it, but you already know like, man, I create this all day, every day. I create joy. I place meaning into my conversations. I place meaning into my work, making sure the work is meaningful, because when it's meaningful, it's easier to focus. When we're doing things that we don't really feel is meaningful for us, it's actually harder to focus. So that's why we have to create meaning so we can, dedicate our mind, body, and spirit to it. My tea is almost ready, and then we'll get right back into this next round. Beautiful round, beautiful round, beautiful round here at the #1 chill spot on the internet. We could be doing a million different things, but we're deciding to do something productive. There's a lot of fear we could be absorbing. You know what I loved about the horror movie last night? Apparently, it's like based on real stories, but I'm kind of like skeptical about that. But in the movie, it was like these like evil entities could really only really feed off of like the fear, right? And like the individuals who like kind of just stood like with no fear, they were able to like face the evil entities in this movie, and it's just like it's just really true for our life, like fear a lot of times just grabs and captures our attention and pulls us in. But man, when we can really move with no fear, have more faith, man, we really recognize how much power we really hold. Like, sometimes you just have to look at yourself and be like, yo, do you understand like what you are made out of? Like, do you understand that what like your nature is? Like, do you understand that you are human? Like you're not just human. I talked about this in a podcast the other day. Like, I don't like when people say, oh, I'm just human. I like it in the sense when like you say I'm just human because you're giving yourself grace because you're learning and you'll make mistakes. But I don't like it when people say I'm just human and they default to their lowest setting. And they're like, listen, I act this way because I'm just human and I'm always going to be this way. I'm not even going to strive to be better. And it's like, that's ridiculous. Like human beings, we have transcended in so many different ways. We were once at the complete mercy of nature, and then we created homes and learned how to like, create medicines and all these things. People looked at the birds and said only the birds can touch the sky. Then we developed airplanes. Like, it's actually quite impressive what human beings do. We innovate, and yeah, we make mistakes. But I believe in the grand scheme of things, like humanity, we're really just like babies or like teenagers in like the entirety of the universe. Still, we're still learning. So when people say I'm just human, I'm like, no, you're actually human. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing to be human. Like, you have the ability to like exceed all limitations and possibility. And just because maybe you struggle with like anger doesn't mean you can't transcend that and actually alchemize that into fueling it into some of your greatest gifts, and becoming like the person you actually dream of. So we're never defaulting to our lowest nature. We're actually designing who we want to be. We get to design who we want to be, right? And we're never just defaulting like, oh, that's just the way I am. I just can't stand. I just don't like when people do that, because I'm like, do you not realize what is within you? Do you not realize who you are? Like, do not default yourself to your lowest behavior. You will do things that are like, damn, I made a mistake, but do not default as if that's just who you are because that's how you have been behaving. No, you can recognize that, rewire that, form new habits, and then transcend past that. You understand? So we are human beings. It's actually something we should be proud of, not ashamed of. Okay, we're going to get into this next round. 55 minutes on the clock. We're having a beautiful session today. Having a good time with y'all. And I will see you on the other side. Nice, y'all. Nice, y'all. Nice, y'all. Nice, y'all. Good session. Good session. Definitely felt that. Definitely felt like that. I don't know, like the ethereal, like mystical kind of focus when you're just like, full embodied presence. I like that feeling when you forget the world even exists. You're just fully in your own world. I like that. It's really cool. I actually just came up with like a very, very interesting process for something that I'm excited to explore deeper on. So today was a nice chill session. Today's session for me wasn't about finishing everything. Today's session was actually more about organizing and exploration, right? Some sessions we have, it's about like finishing. I hate the word deadlines, but deadlines. And man, we need a different word for deadline. Finishing, I don't know, we'll figure it out. I gotta find a new word for deadline. If I don't like a word, I just don't want to say it. I don't want it to be in my vocabulary, I'm pretty good on shaping my vocabulary. Suki Jackson got some good chemistry done. No, nice. We like to see that. Nice to see that. Some good chemistry. I failed chemistry in high school. I remember my final exam, sitting down and looking at the questions and being like, yeah, I'm not passing. And I literally just on the Scantron, I just hit the lottery. I was just like A, C, D, B, just wrote it all down. And then I just left. I was like, I'm gonna just take this L. I already know I'm not passing this. I struggled with chemistry when I was in grade 12. I really did. Also, just at the time, I had no interest. Truly the type of individual where like I need to be interested in something, to like, really absorb the information. Tabitha had a tough time challenging, but I did bring some things to completion. No, you still did good. You did the best you can while you can. You were a little spiritually exhausted today and you still doing what you do. So, the challenge is okay. It's kind of like probably necessary resistance, building those mental muscles. We like that. We like that. We like the effort. It's good, man. It's good, man. We doing good. It feels good. It feels good. Number one chill spot. Yes, thank you. I like that. Look at Dimitri coming through. This is why I love the community circle of closure. But I got to see if that works in what I'm saying. Like when we bring things to its circle of closure, when we're trying to meet the circle. I love circle of closure, but I can already tell it's not going to work every time I try to make that point. But closure, I think, is the word when we're bringing things to its circle of. I don't know. When we've circled the project and brought it to its full closure. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna have to play with that one actually. That might be one of them though, for sure. Let's see what Doc here says. I got super entranced in expanding my Adobe After Effects skills. I'm in graphic design and it's learning curve for sure. Yeah, After Effects is a deep dive. Multiple times I got into After Effects and I never lasted long in that software. I was like, man, After Effects goes deep though. There's actually, there's just the amount of things you can do is wild. It's kind of crazy now how AI can actually do a lot of those things. But if you have the power of After Effects plus the new technology coming in, man, it's like your skill set is going to be so beautiful. Yeah, closure is good. Closure is a good one. Because the reason why I don't like deadlines is like when you finish something, that's like when it comes to life, So it's like, why is it a deadline? It's like you're finishing it and now that's when it's fully coming to life. Like it's the completion, Completion works too, when we're bringing things to completion, when there's to the finish line works as well. Closure works, yeah. And like Rastafari, it's like it's a big intention to use words that promote life, So in Rastafari, sometimes they take it to the extreme. Like some people won't even say good morning because they'd be like, you're not mourning anything. We're not mourning the death of nothing, right? That's where Grand Rising come from. But I say good morning, like MAWN. That's how I say it, like good morning and good morning. But I've always loved that. That's kind of where I learned to enhance my language, was like Rastafari, listen to reggae music and stuff like that, seeing how they had so much intention with the language, which obviously when you speak good things, you promote good things, and you speak good things into life. The power is in the tongue, truly. If we tell ourselves we are not capable, then we will be right. If we tell ourselves that we can, then we will be right as well. You know what I mean? So being mindful of how we are speaking is everything. Being mindful of how we speak to ourselves is everything. We erode our own confidence. Sometimes we're the actually reason for us being in a season with no confidence because of the way we have been speaking about ourselves, right? Confidence is so key. And we have to make sure that we're bringing that back, creating that confidence, and then go create some proof, because you need the evidence to promote that confidence. But once you have more proof and evidence, you got to remind yourself of what you've done, what you do. Like, nah, like, okay, yeah, I got proof. Actually, my therapist said that the other day. I forget what we were talking about. And she's like, well, you have the proof. And I'm like, damn right, I got the proof. I think I said, oh, how I live life according to like my own timeline. Like I like to carve my own path and like, have my independent thoughts. And she's like, yeah, and you have the proof of that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Dimitri says, I read the word deadline started in the 1800s as a military term. It was a line around prisons, and if someone crossed it, they could be shot. No, damn, yo, the energy in that word is awful. Yo, thank you, Dimitri, for bringing that up. No, we are we're deading that word. That's a crazy. See, the history of words. That is something we should dive into on a stream. That's interesting. Wow. I like how Dimitri thinks because I would never even think to go think where the words stem from, right? That's very interesting of you. I like that. Yes, one more stitch. That's a beautiful one too, brought to fruition. But it's like, how do we like mention that like there is like a time frame we have to meet it at, right? Man, that's crazy though. Deadline, man, it's a line around prisons. Crazy. That's why I never liked it. I just like, yo, something don't feel right about it. There's something I gotta meet this deadline. It's all about the military too and war and all that. We don't want no more war, like Bob said. The date of the bloom. Yeah, that's a cool one too. The date of the bloom. Yeah, I like that though. So we are we're like shaping and evolving our vocabulary, the way we speak, because it's infectious as well. Like when you speak in a way that promotes more life, you really do. I believe like just cultivate more light, and that is magnetic. That's magnetic. You start to walk around with a different type of aura, like your energy gets felt through the room, and then light shared is light multiplied, you know and it's not even like naive optimism, because it's like we implement the action to back up our optimism. I always say like I don't always say, I started saying this, that I'm like naively optimistic, but I actually implement the action to back up my optimism, right? Because at the end of the day, if you are in a tough situation, the only thing you do have is hope, right? You do have to face reality. Like you have to be real about the struggle and what you're facing and your reality. But the only thing that's going to allow you to rise out of that is hope, is optimism. So you have to create that optimism, right? Through the way you are speaking, being more rooted in solutions and not just simmering in problems. Some people love problems. Some people truly love problems. They do. It's like a dopamine rush for them. Like they love the feeling of identifying that, something is in their way and that's why their life is a certain way. But, we're rooted in solutions. So, we speak life and then we back it up through our actions, no matter how long it takes, and that's how we rise above any resistance. And we actually use it, we alchemize it for our story, for our own glory. That's the cool thing. Anything you go through, really, you can utilize to transform yourself, even, the most difficult, of things. Hey, I like that one too. Astot says target date. I like that a lot. Target date is good. That's the easy one. Like, my project, I'm trying to hit this target date. Yeah, that's a good one too. Data completion. Yep, we got data completion. Yep, that's a good one too. Oh yeah, reaching the target. Yeah, see, we got good ones. See, we done with the deadline stuff. Right? That's gone. Target date, reaching the target. Bringing this project to full closure. Data completion is on Tuesday. That one works really well too. Data completion. We got the data completion coming up. We hope that we're going to meet this target. We're going to, yeah. I like that. We're not gonna do another round. If you're thinking we're gonna do another round, we're not gonna do another round. I actually got some errands I have to run in a little bit. What are your favorite ways of getting movement in your day? I love walks. Yep, walking is my main one. Walking is a walking meditation for me. I often I often am able to work through ideas or my thought process a lot better on a walk than I am just sitting down looking at a computer. I'm actually developing a process that gets me off of the computer. So more so going for walks. And like if there's something I want to really talk about in a video, I really want to script it more in my mind and go for a walk and just go over it because I love the freedom of like just seeing where a conversation to goes but like also just knowing um the details that you need to know to bring forth through your message. So yeah, I love a daily walk. I do a lot of walks. I definitely get at least like 10,000 steps a day. Some days I'm getting 20,000 steps. I had a day last week. Me and my daughter got she got 25,000 steps in a day. I got 22,000 steps in that day. We were walking. What else? Movement. The gym is good. Except I haven't been in the gym in like 10 days, so I'm sleeping on that. I love a little qigong sometimes, but walking is my main one. Even bike riding. I like bike riding quite a bit. Yeah, those would be my main ones for sure. Trails. I love a good hike, but since I moved downtown, I haven't been in nature as much, like the woods. I've been more on the ocean. But yeah. Nature is a good gym. Nature is a blessed gym. Like right here, actually, just like 5 minutes from here is like really beautiful trails, mountains, lush woods. Actually, I could go up there. No, I'm not gonna go up there today. But it is like my stomping grounds. It is my stomping grounds. I do love it. Yeah. Ree says, discovered your channel 3 years ago and it helped me get through a really dark time. Just want to say thank you. Yes. I'm so glad to hear that. Often people mention that. They're like, man, 2020, 2021, I was going through a very tough time and your content really helped. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's kind of meant to lift you up. And then once you're up, it's like, sometimes you don't really need it anymore, That's just how it is. And that's all right. But it's just always there, like if you need it, Sin Lagos, I like swimming in cold river water. It's transformative. Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, sometimes in like the semi-winter, like January time, I'll go to the river over here and like take a dip, and it's ice cold. It's like an ice cold water bath, but beautiful water. Like this water is so clean, straight out the mountain. You can actually drink it if you want. And I'll take dips in there. Definitely, I've discovered like 10 years ago, I was doing cold showers. I was like really early to that whole cold shower trend, and then it got popular, and I stopped doing it. But even sometimes I do go to like cold water baths, and I really do find those to be a fire meditation. Like I love when it's like so cold, but then I like am able to like not focus on the cold, and then it's almost as if I'm able to warm my body up, or my body is warming up. Who really knows what's happening? I don't know the science of it, but then I just get into this like crazy flow state. Calisthenics is fire as well. Calisthenics builds better strength, I find, in the gym. 100%. For me, at least. That's beautiful. Yeah, I was actually originally planning on doing more rounds today, but reason why I can't do more rounds today is like I really am not prepared for that. I got no food here, I got no water here, and I got some errands to run, but that's okay. Y'all, I will leave this one up for the replay. Some of the other ones, I turned the YouTube memberships on because also my YouTube manager was like bugging me about it. So I was like, I'll turn it on. people who want to support can support, and some of those study streams to clean up the feed, I've put them under the memberships, but this one I will just leave up for all access. Yes, 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 and Legos. It really does remind you of how powerful you are when the body warms up and you're just like, yeah, I can move through, I can make uncomfort a place of comfort. That's what I like about cold water baths. Is like it's so uncomfortable when you get in, but then you make it a place of comfort, which shows you can do that almost with like anything in life. Something that is uncomfortable then becomes your new place of comfort. Live streaming like this was once uncomfortable for me. Like if I hopped on, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Like, am I entertaining? Oh, blah, blah, like, you know, but then now it's become a place of comfort. I think that y'all can probably tell. It's not like this is quite comfortable for me. So I like that. I always remind myself of that if something is challenging or something is kind of frightening to me. I'm like, well, it's going to be uncomfortable at first, but I can make that my new place of comfort. Someone says, are you more productive at home or your studio? Either. It doesn't really matter. It really just depends what I'm doing, right? If I'm at the studio, it's a lot quicker to film because everything's already set up. I really don't like these cameras. Both these cameras, I do not move. Like they stay there. Everything's here. At home, if I'm filming something, I have to set up lighting, do all that, break it down because then I want everything to be clean. So a bit of a process like that. I actually prefer to edit at home because I have another monitor. I have a big monitor right here. You can't see it, but I use that for the streaming. Like this is where on this monitor that you cannot see, that's where I have the stream and everything so I can see what you guys are saying. So I don't use that as editing when I'm here. So I kind of like to edit at home because I got another big monitor right there. And at home, if I just need to use the bathroom, get some food, it's just a little bit easier. But I work well both places. I really don't come to the studio like longer than 4 hours anymore. But, if once I'm able to like identify a mission for myself, and if I have a little bit of pressure, then focusing is not a problem for me. It becomes hard to focus for me if I'm not doing meaningful work. If I feel like there's no sense of accountability, it doesn't need to be people, but like there's no sense of like a reason why I need to do this, I can fall into like a tricky place where then it's kind of hard to do things. But once I sign like that something is meaningful or I'm doing meaningful work, to me, like I'm actually like into what I'm doing, it's not hard at all. I can work on something all day, every day. But like once I feel like I'm on like a hamster wheel, just like, on a manufacturing belt, that's a sticky feeling for me. And then that's when I can fall into distraction. So I just take note of that. Like I realize like when the work is meaningful, distractions have no power over me. There's this guy, John Dilio, I think his name is. This guy like lives on a cruise ship and travels the world on his cruise ship. Like he bought a cruise ship and he travels the world speaking. He's been around for like a long time speaking. And he only does things that is of value. He doesn't do anything in his life that he doesn't feel is like aligned with his highest purpose. Like this guy doesn't even drive. He doesn't even cook. He doesn't clean. Like he's at like, like I do all those things. I gotta do all those things. But like he really identifies like, is this worth my time, and only does what is worth his time. But obviously he's built his life to that point to be able to do that. But even with work, like certain things, I'll be like, oh, like I'm just doing this because I feel like I have to do this. Is this like, can I make this more meaningful? Can I go deeper into this? Can I make it better? And that's when you always obviously realize you win in the process. So if you can make the process a little bit better, then you've already won. Yes, and Legos, you should definitely get back into a little bit of live streaming. I think, especially in this like age of AI where like it's gonna be so hard to identify what is real and what is not. Like we're moving into like some of the most interesting times. And I mean, even you can have AI live stream and whatnot. But I still think live streaming is really beneficial for creators because one, it gives you a space to exercise ideas in real time. You become a better communicator. Your audience, you get to know them, they get to know you on a deeper level, right? Like it's probably the best for really like connecting because you actually get to have like a conversation with them if you bring that element into it. And yeah, I just think again, it's like one of those things that like, is probably like one of the most human things in like content creation. Um, yeah, I think it's really good. What was his name again? Okay, let me find. I really got to start sewing a lot of these things into my mind that I mentioned, so you guys actually know who I'm talking about. Let me find him. John DeMartini. That's his name. So John DeMartini. If you want to watch something on him, watch him on the Know Thyself podcast. That's Andre's podcast, which I'm supposed to go on that show, but I just haven't really felt ready yet. I haven't felt like there's been a reason for me to go, but I will do it someday. I love his work, Andre. But John DeMartini, that's his name, is like this older guy. He's been around for a long time. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting guy in the sense of he literally bought a cruise ship. Like he told himself when he was young that he wants to travel the world and speak to people about like the things he's interested in. And he's really interested in just transformation and stuff like that. And he really studied the science of it. And he bought a cruise ship, and that's how he travels around the world. He lives on his cruise ship, traveling the world, speaking. It's like wild, but he's like, his whole thing is like, he just believes in, he doesn't like people who sell themselves short. So he like really speaks to like, most of the time, like one of the hardest things for us to deal with is like knowing our potential but not quite meeting it, right? That's what we struggle with. And I always say that's kind of a good thing in a way, because it's like at least you identify that there's more to you. At least you identify you have potential. It would be kind of scary if you thought you had no potential, right? That's like, ooh, a lot of times we wrestle with ourselves because we're like, oh man, I should have already achieved this. I should have done this. I should be doing this, because, well, you recognize that there is more to you and you just haven't quite figured out how to, bring it to full formation, right? So I would say maybe that's kind of like what he speaks to. I think he was also a part of like that original The Secret movie, but he's much more like inclined to like action as well. So he's not just like talking about like this thinking things in your head and it just appears in the mail. But my friend put me on to him the other day because he's like, yo, this guy bought a boat. So I was like, I want to know if someone bought a cruise ship and is traveling the world speaking. I just want to know who he is. I want to see what he is, what he's up to. Someone says, I feel it's adventurous to live on a cruise ship in a room. To buy one is the next level. That's why I was like, who is this guy? Because also when he said he never drives or cooks or cleans, I'm like, how is that possible? Like, yeah, you can have like an in-house ship. But then I realized, oh, you live on a cruise ship. So obviously you have people that live on that cruise ship with you, because think about it. If you live on a cruise ship, you also need, is it called a pilot on a cruise ship? Is it also a pilot for a ship? What's like the title for a person who is driving a boat? Is it pilot? I'm not sure. But you need that individual. Then you need a bunch of cleaners, right? You need a bunch of staff. So this guy's moving around with a bunch. I'm like, bruh, crazy movements. But yeah, live streaming is great, y'all. Definitely work it in. I think actually at the end of the day, like storytelling is always the most powerful thing. Storytelling is always the most powerful thing. And I think oral communication and being able to communicate your ideas effectively and beautifully is going to be one of the most important. It already is like the most important skill, but I really think because of AI, it's going to be like one of the most important skills, right? Because AI can do so much stuff or assists people with doing things, but like AI is not going to be able to speak for you in the present moment. So if you can learn how to like really communicate your ideas effectively and beautifully in whatever genres and formats and industries that you are in, you will stand out. Right? Think about the most legendary and monumental people in history. These were always people who were able to move people through their words, um, either for good or bad. Right? There's been people who have used that for evil as well, but like, there is a power to the tongue. And in a world where like, we're moving into a world where machines can assist anybody to create anything that is good, just that communication in real time is going to be so important. So important. And it's definitely a muscle, right? It's definitely a muscle. I know it's a muscle because I've trained that muscle myself, and now I'm even training it more like consciously. A captain, yeah, thank you. I knew there was a different word. I knew it wasn't pilot. Thank y'all. Doc says, a great teacher in high school told me it doesn't matter how much you know if you can't communicate it, then all of that knowledge can't reach others. Really changed my perspective at a young age. Yeah, and that's why I always think it's really important to be able to, if you know something very complex, you still need to know how to communicate it in a way for most people to understand. That's why I think there's a beauty in just like simple language, right? Like even if you think in branding and marketing, like Apple is very simple with their marketing. Nike, just do it, right? Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley because like the message has depth to it, but it's actually just so simple that even a 5-year-old or somebody in their 60s can both enjoy. So I love that because it's true. If you can't communicate your knowledge, then it does no service for this world. It's just stuck in your own mind. So that is, man, yeah, that's even more motivating to learn how to communicate better. Yeah, the art of conversation too, right? Like even just learning to speak to people who are just like completely different from you strengthens your communication, because it's like if you're only speaking to like your own like bubble and everybody that speaks thinks like you and acts like you, then it's like you only kind of speak one language in a way. But if you are able to hold conversation with all kinds of different people, and even people with like whatever opposing views that you believe in strongly, you become a better effective communicator regardless, right? And then you learn how to communicate effectively through conflict. One of the most defining, I think one of the most defining things for a relationship, friendship, or romantic is how someone handles conflict. I think that's really like a make it or break it moment. Some people are awful with conflict to the point where you're like, whoa, the good is good, but the bad is so bad it's not even worth it. Like your inability to communicate through conflict, and maybe some people maybe get aggressively combative and stuff like that. That's a form of poor communication plus a bunch of other things mixed in, and those are the type of things I don't like those type of things in my orbit. People who are working on that, then it's cool, but like some people kind of just default to like that's how they are. Communication is really, especially in these times when we lost a sense of communication, like we do so much texting which loses tone and cadence. Like I have a firm rule, if like for some reason there is like some type of argument that is being had, I won't do it in a text message, because people say things in text that they most likely wouldn't even say in person or like on the phone. So like anything that's like really of importance, I think should be said at least with the voice, so emotion can be heard and felt, and the love and the tone can be felt, and all of that. It's much more productive, and it's no point creating unnecessary fires, like no point fanning flames for just to fan the flame. Like you got, once you create peace for yourself, like you really like just like to protect your peace and get back to peace, and create peaceful create peaceful connections. You have less time for the other stuff, and even like less time to like less need um less need to go back and forth with things that really don't need to go back and forth on. Companies are complaining that many workers don't have it too. Yeah, it's just a muscle, right? Like if you don't use it, you lose it. Simple. That's all it is, right? Like if you don't, if you could go to the gym for like 6 months, like consistently, and then if you don't go for 3 months, like you will literally just watch your body like change. Now you have muscle memory, and it will kick back pretty quick. But same thing with like conversations. Like if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Like if you aren't exercising how to communicate your ideas and all these type of things, and you default to hard conversations just in text, you lose it, right? And then uh, you know unfortunately that doesn't produce really anything good in life. Yep, the keyboard warriors. Yeah, exactly, keyboard warriors. Like even think about the internet, like people who go around like you know being a keyboard warrior in comment sections. These people would probably 100%, these people would never say these things to anybody's face. It's very rare. What I'm saying? People will say things online, but they wouldn't say it to your face. That's why you can't even really take negative comments too seriously. If it's like just pure hate, it's like that person wouldn't even say it to your face. It's just like an easy way to get out their own frustration. And a lot of times like people are more frustrated with themselves, and they're like kind of projecting. It's like you gotta always ask yourself, like, what kind of person just spews hate or creates like drama? It's like they're already divided within themselves. Anybody that is united within themselves is most likely going to produce better fruit, or they're still going to make mistakes, but they're not going to intentionally try to create such nonsense and harm and stuff like that. Like what Jesus did say, like, you'll know them by their fruits. And sometimes you just got to let time tell all. And sometimes fruit looks good in the beginning, but you realize, oh, actually that was bad fruit when you bit into it. So that's why you just let time do its thing. Donald says, how do you keep your creative spirit energized while balancing the creative demand of the platforms? Well, if you don't notice, like I retreat at times. Sometimes I will legit retreat, and I my presence will not be on the platforms as much, or at all. So that's one form. But also I just have strong boundaries. Like I have an app blocker on my phone. It really only takes, how long does it take to post a video on Instagram? 90 seconds if you already know what you're going to put in the caption. So I post and I ghost. And then often, like, one of the best things to do is post and ghost, and then set a time to go and respond to comments, but do it through the Facebook Manager Meta business suite on your computer. Then you can actually just look at all the comments at once and reply to them, versus being on your phone and then getting into this cycle of like, scrolling reels and going to the feed and getting distracted and all of this. Now, the demand of social media is intense because it's like you are almost, in a way, it feels like you can't grow unless you are posting something almost every single day. Like I do believe like Instagram and TikTok, like it's almost like you need to be posting at the very least, like 3 times a week, unless you're producing things that go mega viral. But if you're not producing things that go mega viral, yeah, you kind of need to be consistent, right? So it means you need to be resilient as well with your creative process. You need to build systems that support your creativity and your curiosity and your exploration, but also support creating systems that help you meet your target line. Hey, see how we use target? That feels a lot better. So it's always a balancing act. It's like, I'm not going to say I have perfected it, but it's a balancing act. And you only kind of learn your balance once you've taken a couple stumbles and falls. So when you fall, you just have to learn from that and refine that. But the number one thing you could do is just don't be scrolling all day. Put app blockers on your phone and on your computer. You have to have good boundaries with these platforms, or else you will lose yourself in them. And just create a life that live a life that is a creative act in itself, and learn to batch content, but batch content that is still valuable and powerful, not just quantity, but it's quality as well. You need quantity and quality, but often as creators, we assume that quality means, okay, quality is something I've spent the most time on. It means it's something that's got the best production. That's not always the case, right? Like all the time, like you may spend, I don't know, 10 hours editing or 5 hours editing a reel, right? And then you spend literally like no time editing another reel because there was no edits in it. You just spoke something and the thing you spoke travels way more. Like I experience that all the time. So I had to recognize that like the value in what I do always doesn't equate to the time that I put into it, right? So I had to understand what the value is. And for me, there needs to be a balance. Like I need to do things where I feel like I'm pouring my all into it, but I can't also break my back on every single reel. So I just kind of create different tiers of content. And I have 60 videos right now, reels right now in a folder, like ready to go. And I did that I created that in 3 days, and it's valuable content. Looks good, sounds good, and that gives me time now to like work on other things and put more time into it. So sitting here right now, I know for the next 2 months I can make a post every single day. When I'm live streaming, it gives me tons of content if I go through the live stream and just clip it. My biggest videos on Instagram, I think I got one that's like 8 million views, 7 million views, something like that. Those are just clips from live streams, like literally a moment. So it wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't scripted, there's no editing. It's literally just a moment. And the reason why I think those did so well is because of the energy that comes through a live. It's just way less performative. It's like just, and there's nothing wrong with being performative, right? Like there's nothing wrong with like, really giving something, but I just think there's like a different, I don't know, there's just a different flow that comes through the screen. And I think it stands out. So yeah, you had to create systems. Like once I'm like done here perfecting my systems, I'm definitely gonna find a way to share them because I'm actually coming up with really cool systems right now. And you're really kind of always creating new ones. Like systems that worked for me 3 years ago are no longer in alignment for me now. So I'm in the process of creating new systems and also seeing like what works and what doesn't work, right? Like sometimes you post something, you're like, damn, like I really thought that was going to work and it didn't. But then sometimes it might not be the right time. Like if you're posting a video today, man, like the algorithms right now are so consumed with what happened in America that like it doesn't matter what you post today, it just may be overlooked, right? Because there's a different conversation being had. Attention is elsewhere. Rick Rubin talks about this. Like you can only create the work, but you cannot control the outcome. Also, that is in the Gita as well, right? You have the right to perform your duty, but you have no entitlement, or you cannot expect anything from it technically. Rick Rubin says you may drop an album that's absolutely immaculate, but that month a war kicks off, or the biggest artist in the world also drops an album. So unfortunately, the tides went another way. You can't control the current, right? You can maybe try to ride the current and see, where the culture is going. That's why, people take part in trends. Trends should be a strategy. It's something that you take part in because the current is going there. And then you want to also bring people in that current into your direction. You don't want to just ride trends because you will never be an individual or create anything authentic just riding trends. But trends should be something you do through strategy. Like, oh, people are talking about this right now. I have something of value, or I have the creativity to join in on this, and then try to pluck the people into your own direction from that trend, right? And I think people put like such short time limits on themselves. Like they'll be like, I need to blow up on social media in the next 6 months. Like, so like I think that's puts a lot of pressure on yourself. Because really, like when we say, oh, how do we cope with the demands of social media? We put the demands on ourselves. Like we don't have to do it, right? Like you don't have to do it, right? So technically, you're putting the demand on yourself. Yes, it's beneficial if you are consistent every day. But if you do have to, for some reason, take a step back, or you want to produce less work and focus on like just quantity, you can do that. You have the freedom to do that. Seth Godin says something that I love. He says, if people don't miss you, you haven't created something meaningful enough yet for them. It may be meaningful for you, but you haven't created something that's of value yet. So something I notice is anytime I do retreat, like when I retreat from the podcast, when I retreated from Instagram, I will get messages, people saying, oh man, I miss you. We miss you. Like, when are you coming back? When I came back to Instagram, I didn't post on my feed for a year. The main comments were, I am so happy to see you on my feed again. So sometimes when you take a step back, it's actually kind of good because you get to see if the audience even misses you, right? If they don't miss you, then it means you haven't created you haven't filled a necessary void for them because they feel they can get that void somewhere else, right? Like in my neighborhood, if I want a coffee, there's no, that's not a good example. Like, okay, there's one tea shop in my neighborhood that's absolutely my favorite, right? Like it's where I go for my tea. If they close down, there would be a void in my neighborhood now. Even though there's tea at these other cafes, nobody does it like this one, the one I like to go to, right? So that is something you should be focusing on in anything that you do, is that like you should be creating something of value to the point that even if you disappeared for a second, the disappearance is felt. It doesn't have to be felt by everybody that follows you, but at least that core circle of people who rock with you. Dimitri, do you have any tips for starting creators who struggle with other people's opinions? How do you personally deal with it? First off, you have to accept you can't control people's opinions. The opinions you should care about are the people who are closest to you. And I'm not even going to say you should care about those to the point for it to stop you. And what I mean is, like, people will have their own assumptions of you, and you can't, you could literally like do everything right and people will just still hate you, right? Like, you cannot control what people will say, what people will think. That is just a reality you have to accept. Also, the more you know who you are, then what people say about you won't bother you as much, right? Why? Because like, let's say someone says, I don't know, let's say you make, I don't know, like cooking content, and someone says you don't know how to cook, but you know how to cook. You cook good food, you eat it, you invite friends over, they love your food, you have all this food, you are good cooking, you can cook. If someone says you can't cook, they're just bullshitting, they're just lying. If someone attacks your character and they don't even know you, right? This happens all the time. They make up lies about you, but you know yourself, like your own heart, you know how you move. That's what you focus on. Marcus Aurelius in the Book of Meditations always says, like, listen, the people who criticize you, they're going to die, and you're going to die too, but they're going to die with the thoughts they have of you. So what matters? The only thing that matters is you living out your highest potential and doing what was instilled into you through your gifts and living out your purpose, right? People are always going to have critiques of you. It's just not possible to be online and to escape that once you get to a certain level, right? So as you move forward, it becomes better. But the more you know yourself, your mission, your message, it's fine. If you want, do an experiment. Think of somebody you really look up to, somebody that's big, somebody that like a lot of people know, and maybe pick like 3 people and go on Reddit and just type in their name and write in I don't, like, let's say it's, I don't know, right, like, type in their name. I'm trying to think of the right word, because I did this. You can pretty much type in anyone's name on Reddit and you will find a thread of haters, people who hate them. And then you will also find a thread of people who think this person's a genius and they love them, right? That's just the truth. That's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done. Think about Mr. Beast, right? Like, Mr. Beast is the biggest creator, hands down, on YouTube, like, in the world. And the guy does major philanthropy. And anytime he does any philanthropy, people will be like, I don't trust this guy. I hate this guy. So it's like, you can literally help. He even said, he's like, if you want people to hate you, just help a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I've had people like just assume like nonsense about me and believe nonsense, or like people message me and be like, oh, I think you're a demon. It's like, bro, that's crazy accusation, right? Some people will be like, oh, like I don't trust this person's eyeballs, like I don't trust their eyes. These are variables you cannot control, right? You just cannot control these things. All that matters is providing your gift into the world, right? Providing your brilliance, your knowledge, creating your business, supporting yourself and your family and the things that you have a soft spot for. And if you allow the opinions of others to get in the way of that, you are literally allowing strangers to design your life. And trust me, they're not going to design a good life for you. You're going to have a life that you resent 100%. Yeah, that's true, Dimitri. Dimitri says, I feel like the more you engage in judgment and gossip about others, the more you end up caring about what people think of you. 100%. Like, I've produced so many videos. I've produced so many podcasts and everything. And I've been on these live streams and I've spoke. How often have you guys ever heard of me talking shit about somebody else? Find a clip. Right? How often am I there? Every single day there's something to gossip about, right? Every single day there's an opportunity to ride to ride something and rage bait for attention. How often do I do it? Right? I don't do it. Right? I don't do it. Right? So yeah, I do believe in that. Right? And it's just a part of the game. Unfortunately, like on the internet, the thing is, you have to understand is, the internet's really primitive. Like, social behavior on the internet is extremely primitive. Like, think about like back in like history, like they used to literally like burn women who they assumed to be witches, right? Like that's how primitive we were, as a that's how primitive humanity was. Like they would literally like burn witches. But we do the same thing online right now, right? Like we burn people online all the time because of something they said that people may not like, or they hear something or an allegation. Every week there's a new allegation and people just believe it. They don't pause. People use the internet to manipulate others, to attack others, and people get death threats and stuff like that. And it gets crazy. We have a very primitive culture online. Like the internet acts like barbarians. And I think it will evolve over the years, but because the internet's so young, the internet is a place where people feel safe to share sometimes their intrusive thoughts and like their manifest their lowest behaviors, because there's almost less of a penalty of a price you pay because it is online, right? Like if you were in high school and you're talking shit about someone, well, there's a good chance that person's going to go and give you a black eye. But online, people can really talk shit and make up stuff and get away with it, right? And unfortunately, in the future, hopefully people evolve past that. Or there's like, people, I think now with AI, we're going to move into a place where people are going to understand that you can't trust anything. So hopefully we move into a place where people pause and think before they just assume and attack, right? And, we live at a time where now the online influences and affects things offline as well. So also as a creator, like you really have to understand, like if your intention is just to bring like some good stuff into the world and someone hates on that, okay, whatever, right? But if your intention is to like rage bait and rile people up, then you have to expect that same energy back. Regardless of what you do, you're going to get some negative energy your way. But definitely, if you are purposely fanning the flame, expect the flame to also be big coming back at you. Can we talk about the great lock-in? Okay, I got about 15 more minutes. We can talk about the, what do you want to talk about the great lock-in? So we're locking in, right? We have 4 months left of 2025, right? Many of us may feel, super proud of our progress already. Like we're like, man, we're doing it. Some of us may feel behind, and that's okay. We should just study and refine. Why aren't we where we want to be? Do we make unrealistic expectations on ourselves? Did we get distracted? We have to take the time and go for a walk, have that walking meditation, get in your journal, write it down, and identify why you have fallen short, if you have fallen short, and we're going to learn from that. But we're going to start to develop momentum right now. And anytime I want to develop really good momentum, I always come back to the basics, right? I'm always making sure I am sleeping good. I know it sounds so cliche and simple, but I really do think everything starts at the foundation, right? We're perfecting our sleep, having a good, ritual bedtime, waking up same time every day. If you have the structure to do that, we're eating good, getting disciplined. One of the best ways to discover your discipline is to discover your discipline through food, and not in like a toxic way, but like every day you eat. So every day you get to exercise saying no if something's not good for you, or you can become really gluttonous, right? Somebody who's really gluttonous and just like eats everything in sight and all the junk food and stuff like that, most likely they struggle with discipline as well because they can't say no. So anytime I'm really locked in, I really lock in on my diet and I really, really clean it up. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy a little bit, but I enjoy healthy foods. But doesn't mean sometimes, like with my daughter, I go have like an ice cream scoop. But I'm always making sure that like I'm preparing my own foods. I'm eating whole-based foods. I'm getting the foods that give me energy, that don't make me feel heavy, right? Like there's no reason why we should be so tired every day at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. You shouldn't actually be tired like that unless you're doing physical labor job. You should actually be able to craft consistent energy throughout the day. If you're starting to crash by a certain time, like 3 or 4, and you're noticing you're way too tired, there's something wrong there, right? Maybe you have depleted your energy levels through drinking too much coffee, right? Maybe you drink too much caffeine. Now you're not deriving energy naturally enough. Maybe you're not moving your body enough, right? Maybe you are eating too much of a certain type of food, right? Like maybe you're eating too much chicken. Like I don't really trust chicken that much. The reason why I don't trust chicken is because it's just so mass produced. You can get chicken everywhere, anywhere, at any time. And if you just do a little bit of research into chicken, it is wild. So maybe you got to chill out on the chicken. And if you have chicken, you're buying like the free range, like better fed chicken instead of like eating chicken all. But maybe, who knows, maybe it's fine for you. But me, I don't really be trusting the chicken like that. I don't really be trusting it like that. Right. So you really have to identify what foods fuel you. And I talked about this before, but I would legit create like a food journal and just document like, what days do I feel my best? Because the days you feel your best, there are elements and variables to that day that you can pluck from. Oh yeah, like I slept 7 hours. I slept 8 hours. That's my sweet spot. Like the other night I slept 4.5 hours. I was definitely tired the next day. I was still good because my energy levels are just so much better right now. But I was like, obviously 4.5 hours is like, don't be doing that, right? I know what my sweet spot is. And I just will take a note of like my energy and how I feel after. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the energy or the confidence, you can't lock in on anything, right? So you have to start at the basics, simple. And then you can get into creating the structures and the systems or whatever you're trying to lock in on, right? Like, and you have to define your North Star. So, what are the next 4 months for you? Like maybe I'd pick like a single intention. Like I'm launching in November some new products, some new digital experiences. That's my main single focus. So I know like if you look at your energy, like you have high energy, like if you look at your tasks every day, certain tasks take more energy than others. Like answering a couple emails, it doesn't take a lot of energy. So you can align that with, you do it at like later in the day when you don't have a lot of energy. So I know for the next 2 months, like my most potent of energy needs to go into building these products, right? And allocate my other energy for other things that don't take up too much energy and stuff like that. Right? It's also like energy management as well, and not overriding ourselves and putting too many things on our table, because really you can only give a couple things like the best of your energy. And if you're trying to give like too many things the best of your energy at once, something is going to take a hit and you're not going to be able to bring it to where it needs to be. And then you're going to be disappointed, right? So try to also look at the year and seasons. Okay, these next 4 months or 3 months, this is my main focus. And then I will focus on this. And then I will focus on this. Instead of being reactive every day and like living life by default, you're living more in design. But maybe this season you're not locking in. Like maybe you have to identify what season it is for you. I do think regardless, the world is getting kind of weird. And I do think regardless, you should be locking in. You should be finding ways to become more resourceful, to stand out in whatever you do, to save money. The world is going to drastically change every year moving forward at a rate that we have never seen before. It's going to be wild. So you should be locking in regardless. I think everybody really should. You know, we're moving into different times. I'm not going to say we're moving into bad times. I think we can make it transformational, you know? If you think about the pandemic, for like anybody that didn't get sick, right? So like, you know, we pray for anybody that did get sick and send love that way. But some people were so infused with fear and division in the pandemic, they did nothing productive. While a lot of people, that's actually when they like dove into new hobbies and crafts and build businesses, because they're like, hey, when am I ever going to be stuck inside my house? I launched my podcast in the pandemic and it blew up, right? Some people take times of tragedy and, you know, turn it and transform it. So even if like the next 5 years are like weird in the world and economies are changing, like if you in the past week, the president of Japan, or the prime minister of Japan, resigned. Prime minister in France resigned. There was another country, somebody resigned. Like weird things, like, you know, you're gonna start seeing major shifts like globally. Obviously the world has been real crazy with trade. The markets have been completely uncertain because of Trump. Economies are just kind of scared. Like the landscape is so different, so money's moving around differently. AI is going to be transforming the workforce. So like there's going to be many weird things to come. So you really should be locking in, not from a place of fear, but being prepared to like be able to pivot and, you know, be resourceful and, you know, create your own life. Like years ago, I saw how things are going to get weird and I was like, I need to have more passports. That's why I made the moves to get another passport in Jamaica. I'm making the moves now again to get another passport somewhere else. So I have the freedom to leave this country if my country starts to go down a really down path, which it kind of is going down a bad path, right? So if you see a tidal wave that may be coming, you're like, okay, well, how can I ride this tidal wave? And like, don't just wait for it to hit, you know? Okay, y'all, I got to go run some errands now. Got to run some errands. Beautiful session today. Beautiful session today right here at the #1 chill spot on the internet. We had a good 2 rounds of study focus. We had a lot of long conversation today. But that's good. I will leave the replay up for anybody that wants to just listen to it again. And for the people who are tuning in the future, hello. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can catch the next stream. And yeah, I shall see you next time.